Hello all. This is the second part of object-oriented programming concepts. Here, in the last video, we have seen the basics of how to create a class, how to use the class functions, how to create an object, what is object attributes, what is class attributes, and what is init function, along with the self argument, that is the first argument for all the classes, right? All the functions within a class. So you have seen that. Let me take one more example for the same, and then we will move on to some more new stuff with object-oriented programming, like inheritance. So for now, I will write one employee class, and I'll use a init function where I want to initialize with the name and say, for now I will only use name. Let me add if I want to add later on. So first self dot name equal to name. Then let's create a employee ID equal to, I'll use one start employee ID. Let's say 100. Here employee dot start employee ID plus 1. Okay, and I want to change this. I want to keep on updating the same. Okay, so employee dot start plus equal to 1. Okay, and we can get the salary as well. Maybe we can take the input for the same from the user. Salary and input, enter salary. Okay, this is the basic object we will create, and let's say I will create one more function, apply hike. Then maybe we will write applying hike for self dot name, and self dot salary equal to means I want to apply some fixed percent. Okay, maybe we can decide a class attribute here, sal hike, and let's say 8% hike is something the organization wide they have decided, right? Let's say. So I will use a salary into the employee hike, total hike. Okay, so yeah, this is the one of the way, but you could think about if you want to try with different things, so you can try. So let me see if how we can create. Suppose one employee I want to create here with some details like Akash. Okay, and the moment I create, while creation, this is an implicit call. It asks for the salary as well. Okay, let's say $57,000. Okay, so suppose this is what we have done. Now let's say salary. So I see that 57,000 salary. Okay, and the rest of the details are there. So what I will do is I'll create E2, and here Alex. Okay, for Alex also it asks for salary, so $60,000. Let's say. So here E2 dot salary, I get 64,000. Now let's assume, imagine we are trying to give hike to only Akash, and we don't want to hike this time the Alex's salary, right? So let's see Akash and apply hike. So HR applied this one. So the moment we do that, so the applying hike for Akash. Okay, and now let me check the salary of Akash, and the salary of Akash got updated to $61,560. Okay, whereas the salary for E2 is not updated. Okay, and obviously it should not, right, because E2, the salary hike we didn't apply for E2, so E2 is still having the old salary, but even salary has been changed. Okay, so this is a quite a big number of the decimal. What we can think about doing is we can self dot salary. Let me see if I can use round function for, let's say, 0 decimal. Here it is 67,000. 62, apply hike 66. Yeah, this is good, I think. So here I don't want anything beyond the decimal point, or simply you can int it, in fact. Okay, so just convert it to integer, that's fine. So I think we have discussed these things, right, the conversion operations. 62, Alex, let's say 68, and E2 salary after applying even, even will be employee 1 will be having $66,960, right? So that's how we can do pretty simple statements, but very useful, structured way. We can use this kind of functions inside a class. You can apply, you can set salary, you can write getters and setter functions here. Define set salary instead of in fact getting this at the time of creation, because employee onboarding we can just do it and separate, and then salary and all, so other things we can do separately. So it is up to you how you are probably trying to develop that. So this is the way, one of the way how we can write the basic things. Here is start, employee ID, salary hike. These are the class attributes. There are some object attributes like name, employee ID and salary, correct, and there are some functions that init is a standard, or the built-in function. I would say not a built-in function, but it's a special function for a class which does implicit execution, which is getting called implicitly, and those values are set here. So it is more of a initializing an object for you. And the apply hike is another function which you can use, or for that matter you may have many other functionalities for the employees. Okay, now the next important topic we are going to discuss about is inheritance. Okay, in software engineering, in object oriented programming, inheritance is very important concept, where a lot of attributes and functionalities one wants to reuse. Okay, for example, let's say developer. Okay, so developer is also an employee, isn't it? So I want to inherit the characteristics for the developer from the employee, because for example apply hike applies to even a developer, right? But developer may be having some specific functionalities, right? Maybe having some specific attributes. Employee ID, yes, developer will have employee ID. Salary hike, yes, developer will have salary ID. Salary hike or salary for that matter, employee ID and name. These are common for all the employees. But what's specific to developer then, right? So skills maybe we can say, but skills is also common. We can't say skill is a unique thing for developer, but maybe some specific skills varies, right? So skills for an employee can be something a generic thing, but skills for developer, or the working hours for developer compared to the other professionals, right? Maybe support team may work 24/7. Developers working hours would be different probably, right? So whatever is the new, we can think about adding it. Okay, so I will have init here as well, self, and let's get name, because this is what we are collecting here. So definitely even if I create a developer, so we should collect the name, and so that we can initialize the other things from the base classes constructor or init function. So how do we do that is, first of all let me remove the comma. Yeah, here we can use, there is something called a super function. Okay, I'll take this example little later. Okay, just hold on. Okay, before that I want to explain you with a very simplistic approach to do this kind of inheritance. Okay, here suppose uh, a def underscore underscore init underscore underscore self print developer init. Okay, define any specific working hours. No. Yeah. So okay, for now we will have this much, and let me create an object developer, and here I will use Akash. So let me use the name here, so that I will say self.name equal to name. That's okay, right? So we have created developer, right? And now we know that d1 dot name is available. Okay, no doubt in that. But d1 dot salary hike. Okay, and check the value I get is salary hike. Yes, we are getting, because the salary hike is a class attribute of your employee, which is the base class now. Okay, and now let's think about applying d1 dot apply salary, no, apply hike, right? So even this works here, but it will give some other error, because the fact that the salary attribute is not available with the developer class, right, developers object. So why it is not available, or how to incorporate, or how to add, that is a different problem. But for now, what I understand out of this whole exercise, line number 209 to 210 to 211, is we have developer specific attributes. Okay, we can use them, as well as we can also have availability of your base classes attributes, like sal hike is one and the apply hike is another, and so on. So let me enhance a bit here. Okay, suppose I have some specific skills, right? Let's say skills equal to skills. Okay, so that's another, right? Here I want to pass the skills. Let's say the skills is Python and C++. Okay, so these are the skills available. So we apply, but obviously salary hike doesn't work as of now. But the point here is we have another skills, and that's present for you. Suppose, what if you want to create a similar structure for the base class, for the derived class as well, right? So you have to call the, it doesn't make sense to repeat this and type all this code again. Okay, so the constructor also can be initialized. That means the init function can also be used. Okay, so there is something called the super class. Okay, super function that you can use to call the init function of your base class. So super underscore underscore init will call the init function of your base class. Okay, now to the base class you have to pass something, right? At least the name, not name, yeah, name it is, right? So I just pass the name, and let's see what happens. The moment I create a developer, it has started working with the init function of your employee class. Okay, let's say salary, I enter salary as, let's say, 87,000. Okay, I enter, and it says now the developer init printed, and that means the name, skill. So you got everything. Let's say name we see, and let's also see if a developer got a salary. Yes, of course it is 87,000, right? So developer also got the employee ID for sure, right? So let me see what employee ID a developer has, 101, right? So that's right. So that's how we got the salary, name, employee ID, and hike, and everything what we are looking for. So we can apply the salary hike here, and now you can see that d1 dot salary is now incremented salary, right? 93,960. Okay, initially it was 87,000, correct? So that's a simple process, simple way how we reuse some of the base classes attributes and functions So definitely you can use the function like this. We can have any number of functions which we can use from the base class, right? So this is what the basically the difference is and how we use them. Okay, so yeah, so this is a simple thing but very useful. You should be aware that what is the flow, how we are using, and how we want to actually inherit some of the attributes. Okay, let's take one more example for the inheritance. I will write a class, let's say person. Okay, it's an independent class, and person also have some of the attributes. Let's say person underscore init underscore self, and maybe I just use a location for now. Okay, location. So a self dot location equal to location, that's okay, and then probably I will use some other function, right? Person sleeps, person walks. Okay, no doubt even the employee does so, and the developer so, right? So but for person specific things we want to use, let's say self and colon print person is sleeping. Okay, that's it, a simple thing, right? Now anybody can create a person's object, and you are done, right? You can simply see that p dot sleep you can use, p1 dot sleep you can use, and you are, oops, what went wrong? This is the person, and you are trying to p1 dot sleep, missing one positional argument. Yeah, location we missed it, sorry. Yeah. Here suppose Bombay. Okay, so it says that the person is sleeping now, right? That's pretty simple, right? Now I want to inherit, okay, the same kind of example I am taking once again. Okay, this time instead of I inherit a developer from an employee, I inherit a developer from employee as well as a person. Okay, because developer can have the characteristics from both of them. Okay, there might be something repeated. Okay, I will talk about that later on. Okay, but for now let's just think about inheriting some of the characteristics from person as well as from employee. Okay, and now if you try to execute or create a developer, right? So let's understand how we can create a developer, Akash, and say Python, only one skill. Okay, it says because it is going to a base class, that is init super base class, that is init of your employee first. Then here you will see that the salary is expected. Okay, and developer init happen. Okay, d1 dot location, let me see if I have used location. We haven't, right? So you don't find the location, but whereas you will find other details like salary, or maybe the other things like employee has what all things, name, employee ID, and so on and so forth, right? So d1 dot employee ID. Okay, you will see that one ID got incremented again. So any number of employees you create you are getting that. But unfortunately the second class is that base class, that persons super was not, the init function was not used. So we can use the okay, I will take this later on, but for now you have inherited from the two functions, and let's try and understand how it differs. Okay, the most important thing I am trying to help you understand is D1's, let's understand the helpage of D1, and there is something called method resolution order. Okay, so in such scenario where you inherit from two different classes, you have to understand how the method resolution happens, right? The moment you call in the function, for example for developer, if I call sleep, okay, sleep is a person's function, right? So how the resolution happens, it will check the sleep functionality in developer. If it founds, then good, it will execute. If not, then the next thing it will look at is employee. Okay, the sequence matters. Very first time I give employee and it goes to employee and check. Okay, but it did not find sleep functionality for developer, right? So that means that is not available, so it will move on to the next thing, right, the person. Okay, and inside person if you see there is a sleep and this sleep is getting executed, right. Let me try and do that first. D1 dot sleep, and you can see that a person is sleeping. Okay, so that means the developer is a person, so we can say that for a developer is sleeping or a person is sleeping doesn't make sense, doesn't make difference, sorry, right. So for example, type, if I see type D1, yes, it is a developer, but is instance D1 comma developer, it is true. Why? D1 dot developer. Okay, I think I should use this way. No, because D1 is a developer, right? D1 is an employee. Let me check. Yeah, employee and a person, I think. Yeah, so D1 is the instance of person and employee. Okay, and the type, if I check, it is a developer. So obviously we have created an object for the developer, so this is a developer object, right. So this is how the simple mechanism where you can use your super classes, your functionality which is available for your with your super class, the base classes, that means, right, and how the method resolution happens. So that is called method resolution order. If you get sleep in the other function as well, right, suppose other class as well, suppose that's there for the developer, right, maybe developer is now sleeping, okay, here. Okay, so you have a developer as well as, okay, so developer as well as a person which having a sleep functionality, right, but still there is no confusion. If you see this, so the sleeping is still sleep is still a person's sleep, because the sequence matters, as I said, right. It will go to employee, and employee first it will go to employee. Person is sleeping, how come? Just 1 second. It will go and check the employee. Okay, in employee, oh sorry, I wanted to keep this with the employee, not the developer. Where is employee? Yeah, here is the employee. Okay, so now I have this class and I have a developer class. Okay, I create a developer's object. Okay, and then we will move on and use person. So person is created. Again, why developer? Okay, that developer is we are using again. That's okay, we are already have completed this task. So let me see and call the D1 dot sleep. Now understand, this time sleep is getting called for the developer. Why? Because the developer also has sleep, that means. Okay, let me take everything in a single cell. I think we have multiple cells with the same code, probably we are getting confused. Let me put this all in the single cell. Okay, this is the employee class and there is a person class. Okay, let's take the person class here, and then I will take the developer class. Okay, so this is the developer class. So we got this all three classes created. Okay, now let's create an object for a developer. So D1 equal to developer and Akash, and yeah, I think where is the developer? Here, right, Akash, and the skill also we need to give, right. Let's say this time C++. So I create a developer and it asks for the salary. I have done that. Then we have some bit of initialization happen, right, for everything. So let's see now D1 dot sleep. Okay, the sleep function should get invoked, and what is the scale, the sleep, whose sleep got created. Okay, the name is misleading actually. I will say employee, so this is better. Okay, So let me call this now sleep. Employee is sleeping. So this is the sleep getting executed, not the sleep of a person. Okay, because as I said, method resolution order, you would see d1 dot underscore MRO. Is it MRO? I think there is MRO as well. Okay, it's okay. You can just check the help and get the sequence how method resolution happens. First it goes to developer, then employee. Okay, because we have written employee first, and if it goes to employee and it finds the employee is sleeping, it will just use it. There is no confusion or no ambiguity that whether I should use sleep of employee or whether I should use sleep of a person. Okay, so in fact if you change the sequence here, okay, person, and if you add this, now again if you try, okay, this time it is calling a person is sleeping for your developer. Okay, so because it goes to a person, correct? So that's how the method resolution happens. Method resolution order is defined, and this is one of the important thing we should know. So I hope it is clear. This example gives you a clear understanding about which method is getting invoked and what method we can define or we can put, or if there is multiple instances, how to prioritize that, how to avoid the ambiguity. Okay, so that's all. The last thing for today is we will be discussing about one more concept here. Let's say I use my class, and there is something called a private variable as well, right? There is no strictly a private or public access specifiers in Python, but still there is one attribute which starts with double underscore is treated little differently, right? No restriction as such, but we have one level of at least the accessing differences. So accidentally there are chances that less chances that you will make some mistake, right? Let me try and understand how we can use this. Okay, p variable I am trying to print, and now let's say I create a object of this class, and I want to print a dot underscore pvar, and unfortunately it doesn't work, right? The object has no attribute. But if you recall, we have used various multiple times this kind of syntax, right? If I use var, it works, but only thing is pvar it is not working. So because of this double underscore, interpreter understands that this is kind of a privately accessible data, right? So it has to be treated little differently. So what we can do is to access this, you have to use a dot, there's a class name you have to use, okay, and then you have to add that along with the word with your keyword or whatever with your variable. So this is the way directly you can access. So it is not a true private variable, truly private data, but still a layer of the security, I would say, kind of accessibility. You have to explicitly add something to additional to that, so that makes it a little more clear that how to access it. Okay, however, you can define a function and get pvar, such kind of a getter and setter you can have, and those functions will return underscore pvar. Here you don't need to put append your my class, and this is not the way we should do it, because the function is the class's attribute, so class's functionality. So functions can access this variable directly, and let's try how we can do that. Let me create a variable here. Now here I will do a dot get pvar. Okay, yeah, it says that pvar get pvar name is not defined. Get pvar for a. Okay, I think a self is missing here, right? So self dot Yeah, we can get it, right? So this is how we can have some getter and setter functionalities. Okay, this is a quite important thing. So maybe you might have heard about the getter and setter functions. So you can use a set function here, and you can set this value with the whatever value you are getting when you want to set. Okay, I have a setter function as well, so we can definitely set value. Okay, and now this time I want to set this, so a dot get b val, and this time you get 18, right? So that's how you can access a private variable directly, but with the help of getters and setters. But if you want to access by name directly, it is not available for us, right? The line number 309, that's an important line to note here, is this particular variable cannot be accessed directly. Okay, so you have to have some getter and setter functions to access that, or if you want directly, then you have to specifically add my class underscore my class. You have to just put it before the variable, and that's how you can access as well. So as I said, this is not a truly a private data, but still a one layer where you can't accidentally change it. You have to make sure that you are using some kind of additional stuff to print the variable. Okay, so that is how we can use private in the Python. Okay, I hope you understand. This is all about the Python object oriented programming. We will do couple of examples in the practice session where we will be using object oriented concepts extensively, and I hope you'll get the more hands on over the practice session. Thanks for watching.